Hello. Hey, we're gonna be reviewing the first game of you versus the Pikachu player here, Procyon. Procyon. I'm sorry. Um, yeah. Let's just watch. Let me bring up your notes because there were a few things that you mentioned should be keeping in mind. So I really struggle with this Pikachu's evasiveness, especially with him camping when I had Arsene. When I was playing and watching it over, I noticed I couldn't get a good grip of the advantage state. Like I would get one hit and that was it. So I was wondering how I can push my advantage state. And then there's like specific areas to look in general direction. Let's just take a look. Let's just take a look. That's a little loud.
2, 1, go!
Uh-oh. Okay, you made it. Okay. Nice feint. So let's look at what happened in this sock. So there are two things that really stand out to me. So from the get-go, you should ask yourself, okay, where does my opponent want to be and where do I want to be, right? And so for Pikachu, where does Pikachu want to be? Pikachu wants to be far enough away from you to set up T-Jolt. And so when he has T-Jolt out, who's stronger, you or him? He's stronger, right? And so this basic idea is kind of at the core of how you should be moving around in neutral, is he's going to try to move away from you to set up T-Jolt. And at that point, you've already lost. And so what you need is first, you need to figure out what do you do to counter that, like him going away. And second of all, what do you do when he does set up the T-Jolt, right? So like in this situation, let's take a look. Please play. Thank you. Okay, so sets up T-Jolt. We're weaker. Okay, we have to shield. So here, he kind of fucked up the drift, but like you just literally like lose neutral here. He does it again. He just kind of waits for you. You've lost the neutral here again. Like he should, like even if you counter that, he grabs you before you get the counter attack because I think the counter attack is not frame 1. Let me double check that before I look silly. Where is it? Be counter attack frame 8. Right, frame 8. Right. It is I think invincible on startup. But even then, right, like he can hit you during the hit stop of the T-Jolt, and he can wait for the counter attack and punish you afterwards, right? So like we've kind of already lost neutral. Like he can kind of just throw T-Jolt, run up shield, and like if you counter attack, he grabs you, and if you don't, then he grabs you anyway. You know what I mean? Like you've already lost neutral here. Let's put it like that. So like what is the plan when he throws out T-Jolt? So here's what I recommend. When he's at a further distance, you don't want to throw out gun, you don't want to throw out Iha, because that's gonna just like make you very telegraphed. That doesn't counter anything that he wants to do. You want to be flexible so that when he throws the T-Jolt, you can dash in, and now he's in the corner and the T-Jolt is going all the way back there. You see what I mean? And so now you corner pressure him. That makes a lot of sense to me. If the T-Jolt does come out and you don't have a way to counter it, go to a platform. Now the T-Jolt goes under you, and then you use your mix-ups to get off the platform. You can go high, down gun, you can drop through, run off, run to the center, run to the corner. You can short hop, try to go back on instead of down gunning, which is like you can feint it. There's a lot of options you have from that position. And Pikachu, like worst case scenario, he's gonna like up air you. It doesn't really matter. And so that's like two things that you should be thinking about in neutral in general. It's like, where does my opponent want to be and why? And where do I want to be and why? And then ask yourself, like, okay, who wins in this situation? If I do what I want and they do what they want. In this situation, you lose. And so if you lose when you do what you want, you should not be doing what you want. You should be doing something to counter the opponent, right? And vice versa. If you win when you do what you want, then you should just do what you want, right? Like, why you should play around the opponent? Because the opponent has to play around you, right? So that sends out, and then talking about advantage state, something that I think is really important, and we'll see it when we get there. Is to kind of like, again, you got to think about where the opponent's going to be, and so this is an option both in neutral and disadvantage. Where, okay, this is a good example, by the way. Like, look at what happens here. You go high, Pikachu up airs you, nobody cares. You go high again, there's no punish, right? So like, again, think about what positions you want to be, right? Going back to the point of like advantage state, your biggest issue, Daniel, is that, let's turn this on a little bit more. Your biggest issue is that you're often kind of like swinging where they are. Not always, right? So like this nair that you're doing here, this is not where they are. This is like a walling nair. This is good. But in advantage state, you try to hit where they are a lot of the time. And so that's like the biggest issue. And so like a big thing that I recommend you do is to start thinking about, again, positions. Where do they want to go? Like in neutral, we think about where they want to be, right? Like in disadvantage or advantage, true. Where do they want to be? And so look at this. Where does he want to be? He wants to essentially up B to center. And so what we should be considering is, for example, like short hopping here. So if he up B's, you can do like a landing back air. You know what I mean? Something like that. Or full hopping if you want to extend a little bit. He goes low. If you short hop here and he goes low, you lose nothing. He has to go to ledge here, basically. Okay, where does he want to be? He wants to be in center. There it is, right? And so why do we gun here even, right? Like, what is the expected value of gunning? And so we have to kind of like measure the expected value of our actions. So the expected value of this versus the expected value of covering center. Right? And so we have a lot of options here that we can go for that all have an expected value. And expected values like your risk and your reward and your success chance, right? Your accuracy, which is based on your coverage and your read. And so like this is mostly the easy. There's of course like more factors. There's a lot of factors like how do we get into the situation? What are the percentages? What information? Well, that's kind of the read, what information we have. But yeah, and risk reward is kind of part of the percentages. Like you get what I mean, right? What I'm trying to say is that these elements are made out of a lot of things that are related. And so we have to be a little bit more exact with that. And so here as well, right? Look at what happens. What does this dash pause forward tilt hit? So if we're reading that he's going to be there, he's probably already doing something. So why are we attacking him at that point? Like it's too late, right? And so here, a grab makes sense because we're trying to play one step ahead. We think they're already there. If they're going to be in the same position for that long, they're probably going to be shielding, right? If not, they're probably going to do like Rising Becker, or Rising Becker drift in and fast fall and hit you on your dash, or a Rising Becker and then immediately quick attack away, or Rising Becker into up tilt. You know, like stuff like that makes a lot more sense. So like, again, we have to think like a step ahead in these situations. And for Pikachu especially, like here's the thing about Pikachu, right? He's small and he can be in a lot of different situations in a lot of different moments. And so like hitting him is very hard. So you basically have to undershoot repeatedly. Because like, what is he going to do about it? That's kind of like the crux, right? What is he going to do about your repeated undershooting? And so that's the issue of Pikachu. He's too stubby to really beat that consistently. And he can, right? And that's where we get back into the T-Jolts. But trying to aggress on Pikachu is almost never a good idea. Not directly, right? So like run up grab is like indirect aggression. So like, again, right? Like this counter, I see what you're going for. You're trying to reflect the T-Jolt. But again, think about the expected value here. What if we dash under the T-Jolt and up smash him? Right, this is an up smash easily. But again, like I think this is more of like a an experience issue. But I just want to illustrate like how much more we can get in these situations. Okay, again, QA to center, right? And so like here's what I recommend: the T-Jolt hits your shield, which is already a mistake, but that's fine, it happens. Nair out of shield here. Just short hop Nair. And then you hit him. You see what I mean? Like, it's very simple. And if he hits a quick attack, it's not much different than him quick attacking past you, you see? Like, he hits the quick attack here. It's the same thing as if he wouldn't have hit you, essentially. The only difference is, like, what? Like, 2% damage? Not even? So, like, you shouldn't be too afraid of getting hit by these retreating quick attacks. Like, when he's quick attacking to whiff punish, it's a little bit more scary, but then we treat him more like a dash attack. And here, we're not, like, playing around a dash attack, right? We're playing around quick attack specifically to center. And so being a more, again, like, just undershooting in these situations more is good. This shield approach worked because it's not a direct approach. It's very indirect, right? You're essentially waiting for him to swing at your approach. Okay. Again, same thing. This is fine. Yep. Undershoot dash attack. Forward smash. Nothing happens. Literally nothing happens. This is good. Again, he rolls the center, right? Like, why are we letting him get to the center so often? And so that's something that I really, really think you should accentuate for your play in the future. And then he throws you. You could have mashed out of that one, by the way. Okay, let's continue watching. Okay, this is fine, right? So, like, we're going high here. One thing I do recommend is, like, just go to the platform, right? No need to land on the stage, but you know, it's okay. Pikachu is gonna get early percent, so him getting like 36 is not a big deal, right? We up throw up air. This is big actually because he's light, so this percentage means a lot more. We've Arsene too. QA is to center again. Right, so like I know it's hard to do with QA, and it literally is hard to do with. It's a really broken move, but like we're definitely not giving it enough respect. This second up E is like frame what I think like 30, like 26, not 30, 26 ish, 29, almost 30, and you got hit by the end of it, so maybe even 30 because it's active till 33. Yeah, so like. Getting hit by this, it's literally just like brain AFK kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is like getting hit by a max range charge shot. It should never happen. And so I'm not saying we should play around it constantly, but we can do the things we want to do while playing around it, right? Like, there's a middle ground there. Okay, again, we do like the dash up, pause, forward tilt. At least use sliding forward tilts. You know what I mean? Like, I know why there you shouldn't because it would go through him. It's like, I get it, but like at that point, like, it's just too slow. I'd rather you do something faster, right? So, like, dash up. You can cancel your dash with an up smash and do an earlier up smash. You can cancel your dash with a dash attack and do an earlier dash attack. But because the forward tilt kind of requires you to end your initial dash, it comes out really slowly. I like your dash in, dash outs. We're just getting quick attack to the center every single time. So what you do is you just play around it more committally, right? So like if you have to hard commit and pre-position for it a lot, then that's what you do. Like, why would we not if he keeps doing it? It's like, oh, but like forming a scissors with my hand is a lot of effort. So I'd rather just let him get away with paper. That makes no sense, right? Like, of course, if they're using paper, you just use scissors, even if it's like a hard thing to do or it requires a lot of commitment. Like, just do it. It's the same thing for like covering the QA to center, right? Like, I know it's a lot of commitment and I know it's like awkward to do, but if the read is there, why not act on the read? Yep, see, we whiff, it's fine. You see what I mean? Like, we can play defensively here. He played that situation wrong. He could have just held shield and been fine. And this is a big issue, right? So look at what happens. So we whiff this. We jump away. I don't like this shield, but the jump away is good. So like we're just staying flexible, and then we move forward, and then we have to shield because moving forward against Pikachu is really fucking hard. And it's something that you walk into a lot, where like you try to walk forward, and you shield, and then Pikachu pressures you for shielding. And so what I really recommend is to stop shielding after whiffing everything, single thing, and just shield, like whiff something and just like full hop or dash back or roll in. And then if they punish that, then you can shield, because if they punish that, it's like a dash attack, and dash attack is super punishable out of shield. And now we're using shield as a retool rather than like a crux that slows down our entire gameplay. So I hope that's useful for you. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions, and yeah, let me know how the improvement goes. All right, I'll talk to you soon, Daniel. Bye bye.